Despite Jones suffering a 33-pound weight disadvantage, he had little problem with the fight and won at 12.
The other AC, Serious Mathematics, Halftime, Majestic God, Wazoo. We're on the late night right now, so we probably each one teach one. Who knows what it's going to do today?
This would be Roy Jones' last race for him. Despite moving back down to light heavyweight in his next fight and defeating Antonio Tarver, Roy looked a shell of his prime self, and in the rematch, Roy suffered a brutal knockout defeat that he would never fully recover from. He lost 8 more fights to people he would most likely have destroyed in his prime, and won 14 against no
SW.
washed up for his in 2008.
Yeah, that's little boxing stuff going on in the background.
Until next time, this is Boxing Legends TV signing off.
But on this topic right here, I guess we don't have to wait for too much of the what did I miss crew. But on this topic right here, keeping your sword sharp.
Getting stuck sucks. At HostGator, you can get the website you need for where you're at.
Like, how do you see keeping your sword sharp? And, why is it necessary? Why, whoever finds it necessary, why do you think it's necessary? For the people who may not think it's necessary, why don't you think it's necessary? Infinite satisfaction. Yeah, Roy versus Mike Tyson. I really don't know what I think about that. Maybe it'll be good for boxing. I don't know. But, it's just a situation where, I'm hoping they planning on going in there like Hulk Hogan and Muhammad Ali back in the days. Because, both of them is just at a point where, I don't want to see them get hurt. I don't want to see nobody pull a muscle. I don't want nobody to get no extra brain damage. Neither one of them got nothing to prove. You know what I'm saying, at this juncture in terms of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Neither one of them really look like they need the money. You know what I'm saying? I know Mike Tyson has had trials and tribulations. You know what I'm saying? But, he appears to be back now. So, Roy got his fighters that he trains. So just, whatever they do when they go in there, I'm hoping they take it easy on themselves and each other. The other AC says staying with my mathematics keeps me sharp. See, the mathematics is that's fairly easy. One gets said my sound is low. C120 takes much more discipline for that. You see, to sharpen your sword, even from the very beginning. You know, doing that with the lessons, that's a little more of a challenge. You said the last fight Roy had, he looked like the same Roy. The last fight I saw, oh, he didn't look like the same. That's what I was saying. The last fight I saw with Roy Jones was he was fighting this YouTube guy, like a guy, he like I guess like a semi-pro boxer or something, and he was taking challenges on YouTube, kind of like Kimbo Slice. Why, as you said, the sword is an emblem of justice and was used by the original man in Muhammad's time. Can't serve the penalty or reward. If your sword is dull, you're gonna have a hard time taking heads. Jasim said a dull axe takes at least twice as long to chop down a tree, so taking the time to sharpen the blade is worth the effort, although it may seem counterproductive. Majestic God Allah said the only way to keep it is to give it away. If you don't use it, you lose it. Every time I'm given the opportunity to build, I gain more knowledge with my understanding. Okay, state of the art. You appear to be starting early tonight. All right, L7. 1/2 of the new and improved L brothers. Is the audio, can everyone hear me? Halftime halftime says it sounds like I'm whispering. Anyone? Anyone? You hear it? The audio is rough. All right, hold on. Let's see if we can adjust this quickly. All right, how about now? Can you hear me now? Anyone? Anyone? Can you hear me now? Guess maybe I went from having static in the sound to no sound at all. This is better. All right. I lost my spot now. What were we building on? Oh yeah, I was still uh, still. I can't call it. Am I just am I just speaking low? Can you hear me now? Infinite satisfaction says steel sharpens steel. The sharper your steel, the sharper your brother's wisdom and quality. Today's mathematics. You gotta peace. We have and all of a sudden, as per usual, everyone needs to get in contact with me. Everyone needs to get in contact with me as soon as we start the show. Can y'all still hear me? Hold on, I gotta get the picture back in a minute. My remote access to something is not going correctly. Apex Cypher said, not saying that mathematics is all I deal with. It just keeps me on my square every day to do it. You see, you know, this is a little bit different than what I'm saying. Staying on your square is a little bit different than your sword being sharp. See, because one thing, infinite satisfaction drop right here, right? About keeping your sword sharp, right? Is that it stays sharp through usage. See, a person can remain on a square about anything. A person could remain on their square in terms of, you know, uh, let's say a person is in the medical profession and you a doctor. The more complex the activity that you're engaging in, right, it's easier for your sword to become dull. The person can still have all the characteristics of a doctor. They could want to help. But at the end of the day, do they still have their skills sharpened? When it comes time to tell you, okay, look, this is the condition that you have right here, right? Do they still have, the knowledge of all these conditions on cap? See, because what's your sword? What's the sword? I think we on lag time tonight. Got a little lag. Anyone? Anyone? True self. They're like Peace. Peace, everyone. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I got kicked off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got kicked off of the internet for a minute. I was paying attention. Now I was listening. You was talking about. Listen, I mean that was between. I don't know what happened. I was where I am every day. I mean, I caught it, but like I said, I thought it was some Harlem thing. I thought that's what people. Yeah, I mean, I thought that's how they do. I mean, I didn't know. That's what I'm saying. I didn't know. I didn't know what was going on. But hold on though. Let me because you hit me in the middle of rebuilding. You probably need to hear this as well. What? What? I'm saying. But listen for a second. This is important. Okay, so Infinite Satisfaction said, wisdom is the sword. Halftime said, just because you have a sword doesn't mean the devil doesn't have his own instrument on him too. And if yours is dull in the moment. So L7 said the mind and Jasim said the mind. I guess we could explore what makes y'all say the mind is the sword. Uh, as W said, the sword is one's words or wisdom. While as you say, your word is that sword, and the heads are the trick knowledge establishment that you hold fast to. So, uh, one thing you got to remember, right, is that your words, right, can save your life. See, that's the importance of your sword being sharp. Brother told me a story one time, right, that he got locked up and he told the people that he was God. This is in the 60s. And so they sent a psychiatrist in to question him, right, to see how rational he is. To see, are you using a rational train of thought to come to this conclusion, or are you stark raving mad? So he said in the course of him building with the psychiatrist, he goes into the build degree and he tells them that this water is never drawn above 6 miles above the Earth's surface. Right? by the sun and moon. But then he tells the doctor that he can draw a cloud up over the sun. And because of that small discrepancy right there, he ended up in the mental institution. And he said that the doctor asked him again. Doctor said, wait a minute, didn't you just say that this water is never drawn above 6 miles from the Earth's surface by the sun and moon? See, yeah, that's what I said. Said, then you said that you could draw a cloud up over the sun. See, yeah, that's what I said. Now, that's just one example. You see, there's something significant also, right? Remember, there's something significant about where it says we took from him everything except their what? Language. But when you look at the 1 in 36, it tells you what? They stripped us of everything, including our language. Because Manku does not speak his own language. So there's something important, right? Because remember, what does it ultimately mean, right? If your sword is sharp, like we just said right here, right? That your wisdom, your words is your sword. What does it ultimately mean if your sword is sharp? Rafael Arroyo said, I remember in one of the videos you said the tongue looked like the shape of a sword, so the word is the sword. Yeah. Sacred words. I'll throw one for the wordsmith. The wordsmith, I'm sure he's eating that one up right now. Sword is sacred words. But getting back to the point, or getting back to the question, right? What does it ultimately mean if your sword is sharp? True Self said that is utilized often. This is true. But there's something even more, I'm not going to say it's more pertinent, but it's something. As W said, it means you on point. Holyfield said, Jesus said he came not to bring peace, but the sword. Where did he say that? Which one was what was the situation of him saying that? Sincere Shakima. So I see the state of California has been brought to its knees. The state of California has been brought to its knees now. You've been forced to admit the truth that you're infested over there. I tried to tell you, but you were too busy with your New York bashing to realize that you were being lied to. Halftime said it means being able to administer justice whenever needed. It means that Infinite Satisfaction said when your sword is sharp, you leave no uncertainty in your explanation of your idea, while you said being right exact. Universal Truth came in. Now look, I'm gonna tie all of what y'all said in together. Because y'all all said it, but it could be just manifested simple. See, when your sword is sharp, it means your knowledge is sharp. See, at the end of the day, that's what your sword being sharp is. Because wisdom comes from what? So you sharpen your sword by what? Gaining and retaining knowledge, right? And being able to show and prove it. Motherland Gardens. Has been a minute for Motherland Gardens. We got a couple people that's been a minute. We got Sincere Shakima. Apparently she doesn't wanna talk. She doesn't wanna speak right now. Because the state of California has been exposed for hiding COVID-19 cases. Who's this? Naki. Y'all see it? The Naki is coming to us from Facebook, so most of y'all probably can't see the statements. The comment right here. Did anyone know that when you're on Facebook now, that there's closed captioning? I just found that out today. But Naki says, message Naki Hacker 93 on Instagram. He's very legit. To what? To fall. He helped me put 2,000 into my Cash App account. He's best. He's the best to fall for. All right, listen, Naki. Don't come on my page with your scams. I don't know what kind of scam this is, but I don't think I want anything in my Cash App from you. All right. We got Universal. Can you see the closed captioning on Facebook? Yeah, I mean, is it very accurate? Hold on 1 second. You there? What do you mean? Are you tuned in? Are you tuned in to my YouTube right now? No, I kept telling you. I kept listening. Come on the YouTube channel right now and just come on the YouTube channel. You heard? I need to use my phone to do the live stream. All right. I can't. You gotta go to my page. I'm a pretty big YouTuber. Like if you just go to YouTube and put in DAR, my whole name comes up. All right. Listen, she came at all of this, these excuses here. We don't want to hear it. Hold up, y'all gotta tell me. I don't know. Are we? Can you hear me now? Anyone? Anyone? But yeah, Shakira is back with this propaganda here that it's somehow due to the testing. Listen, one of these days you'll learn that sometimes when I tell you something, it may not seem obvious to you right now because I'm predicting history 25,000 years in advance. And this time, the state of California is living it out. Try to tell you, hiding those cases. Whoa. Motherland Garden said just found out that his pops has lung cancer. So yeah, that's definitely someplace where you gotta apply definite mathematics. You understand? Where you're not necessarily gonna have time to come on here and chat with us every day. We got Majestic Tayshawn came in. I see we got a side rally developing over here. But yeah, what's the Motherland Gardens? What's the prognosis on that? Is it a situation that they caught in time? Stage 3. Stage 4 is the final phase. What's the final phase? Yeah, stage 4. Yeah, that's the final. Uh, premise right there. You know, if you're doing the right thing, you know, in terms of spending time with them now, you know, uh, when my pops returned, I didn't really have that level of understanding to realize that, you know, or even really understood life and death that much to really realize what the situation was. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's why kids could just, you know, they could just have shootouts, you know, and not really think about it because they don't really know what life is yet. Motherland Garner said his pops is 57 years old. Please, people, if you smoke cigarettes, stop. Yeah, that's, you know, and that's the thing about, you know, these type of things, like, you know, that's, I mean, that's older than me, but, you know, you're not old enough to be my pops. You know, he's old enough to be, let me see. Yeah, my older sister is older than him. See, that's one of the things, you know, we talking about keeping your sword sharp, you know, uh, just like you have knowledge, right, in all worlds from highest to lowest, you know, how sharp your sword is. It's from world to world too. See, there's some people that if we talking about, uh, you know, what is the latest rumor, you know, in hip hop music about this person or that person, they sword is extremely sharp. But then you ask them about something, you know, that's actually of some substance, you know what I'm saying? You know, just like, you know, your parents said when you was little, you know, your you know, your sword is sharp when it comes to singing these songs. But your sword is not so sharp when it comes to your homework. So see, dealing with these matters of health and how to take care of ourselves, that's something that you gotta keep your sword sharp. You know, you gotta keep researching all these things, these different chemicals and everything that, you know, we take for granted when we put them in our bodies. You understand what I mean? Universal truth said I walk out of the room when anybody lights up. Infinite Satisfaction said they say Cuba has a vaccine or cure for lung cancer. Al Thompson, that's one of the hardest addictions to give up to. You know, I don't know. This is something I haven't researched heavily, but I have read that, like say, like back in the 40s, that it was only like 8 kinds of cancer, and that those 8 cancers they can cure them now. But it's all these other cancers that showed up on the scene that's giving them the problems now. Mother than God and say, I feel you about being sharp because some of the medical terms I don't understand, but my wife is a registered nurse and she's all over it. Yeah, precisely. You know, if your sword is not sharp with that legalese, you know what I'm saying? You know, that the medical profession, see, because that's like I said, we went over many times. That's one of the things that they use is their language in order to master the original man. When they come to the trading post, what are they using? They're using their language. John Sim said he quit after getting out himself. Halftime said he quit in November of 2009. 3 hours ago, I was on Zoom with my man spitting the grease to each other, and when I saw him light up, I got a craving. Infinite satisfaction. Oh, so you can Google the thing about Cuba. Well, yeah, Cuba is they kind of famous for that. That they got a very good medical uh, apparatus, what would you call it? They got a very good medical system as far as education and practice. You don't hear about it anymore, but at one time, whenever there was a disaster someplace, Cuba would always send a whole bunch of doctors. You see what happened to Shakima, right? Now that her state has been busted for hiding its COVID-19 cases. She's not so rare to talk. It's okay. Your silence speaks volumes. Speaking of that, how are we coming along with the various conspiracy theories? I was thinking about that on my way to do the live today. I was wondering, that was a question I wanted to ask. We almost we almost passed the hour mark, so let's deal with that. You know, we still on the topic of keeping your sword sharp, but you know, that same kind of spirit, how are we coming along with the various conspiracy theories about what the quarantine was about and what situations we was going to be forced into or that was going to be forced upon us, as well as the George Floyd conspiracies. How are we coming along with that in terms of those predictions coming to pass? Anyone? Bueller? Where are our conspiracy theorists? I'm talking about the brothers who were convinced that this whole thing was going to lead to mass vaccines. Is anyone willing to raise their hand and admit that they were of the mind that all of this was going to result in mass vaccines? Or the people who said that all of this was going to result in martial law? It's little, not that time is over, but just an assessment at the date of this video. You notice at the date of this writing in 120, we're dealing with just at the date of this video. How are those theories working out now? I have times that I had an ex who had a brother that went to rehab. She told me they don't take away their cigarettes because they know it could be harder to beat than hard drugs. Hmm. Jason Rosario. Universal truth said keeping the sword sharp is not being convinced or trusting someone because they speak your language. They gotta be of the culture and deal with the same rules and regulations. Language can be face value. And see, this is why this is why you have to show and prove. See, you can't really sharpen your sword with information. See, because information, you know, could be right or wrong. It could be accurate or inaccurate. See, knowledge by definition has to be able to go to born, right, and be born alive. So Asiatic mathematics, he's taking the mathematician spot right here. You got some numbers, so what's the analysis? Because like I said, with these statistics, you can actually obscure the truth. You got to be able to put meaning to these numbers. So, you said you was doing the math to this thing. All right, so Asiatic mathematics said, according to Google, there have been 147,238 corona deaths in the U.S., and the total population is 331,128,810. Therefore, the chances of someone dying from it in the U.S. is 0.04446%. So we have here Jay Baldwin came in. We have Maya Goddess Life. Does that sound like you need a last name with that? Like Maya Goddess Life Williams or something? While this is a Hotep channel, we don't worship the female gods. We're not. We don't do the Asheing over here. Matter of fact, I didn't get a chance to play out the footage. I gotta figure this out tomorrow. I'm gonna play the footage of me speaking at the event this afternoon. And that's what happened. They let this goddess lady. They put the goddess lady to speak right before me, and she could not shut up. Like I'm talking about, look, she was telling so long, the lady had to go over there and tap her. So see, that's what I told y'all. It actually worked out perfect. That what I had to say was short and sweet. Worked out perfect. But yeah, that lady, man, she was all talking about being gullah and eat rice because her family sells rice and like lady. And she's all in Africa talking about Lucy. Let me tell y'all something, man. Lucy is a monkey. sound is back on the blink. I think, hold on. Let's, I think we got to do this the old-fashioned way. Turn that bad boy off. But yeah, the goddess lady, she went in. You know, then she started talking about if a man ever came from a man, then I'd like to see it, and for him to tell his clone, like just some stuff where he was like, "Listen, man," and and I've had to deal with this stuff 2 days in a row, man, which is not, not built for that. That's why I run a Hotep channel, so no one feels that they have to come and tell me that. Motherland God, is you still there? Do you get a chance to talk to Young Dub? Young Dub still comes on the channel. So Arkansas has still been in the house. L7. I don't understand this, what you put right here, L7. You said the mind is where the words and actions come from? This could be one of those situations where I was talking too long and now I lost track. $793. Wasn't you just sitting here $793? What happened? You got kicked out? L7, I think I lost track of what I was saying. Yeah, it's 793. I must have got confused with earlier. Well, we've been through a couple of things, Jasim, in terms of, the video. We, the main thing we coming back to constantly is keeping your sword sharp. And what it means is, see, it's also a cautionary it's a cautionary type thing too. It's a cautionary type statement. And see, you know, one of the things that causes your sword not to be sharp, right, is when you get comfortable not having to use it. See, like in life, let's talk about keeping your sword sharp in terms of studying and being able to show and prove what you living out, right? But let's say you get involved with an activity, you know what I'm saying, where there's no brain power really involved. It's not something where, you constantly got to be navigating and adjusting. You get involved with doing something that is full of no-brainers, full of things that you could do without having to use much brain power. But you're very successful at that thing. It may even make you economically successful to do that thing. And now you become comfortable and you start to feel like, well, what's the point of my sword being sharp? What's the point of building? What's the point of going through mathematics? We outgrew all that. We passed all that. Which I can't say that there's no respect in which that type of mindset is speaking the truth. Like, see, for me right now, if we go through the day's lesson and whatever lesson, this is the 10,000th, 100,000th time for me. But, for me and everybody else that ever did the knowledge to it, how many times did you apply that? How many times did you apply the knowledge and understanding that you learned from that, right, in order to build something? The other AC said, "This is what I was saying." Wait, which part? Y'all keep doing that to me. I talked for 10 minutes and then you said, "Yeah, see that right there, that's what I meant." Y'all some funny cats, man. Where the rubber meets the road. Right? Yeah, which fly phrase for the Providence plantations? Yeah, God save you divine. Hardest working man in Jamaica, Queens. Where you at, God sighted Devon? You at the plantation? This is 7:30, so I'm gonna have to footnote comments. I don't footnote. I'm supposed to be taking notes. Are you at the lab now? They finally gave you a day off, huh? God Cyber Divine had the gift and the curse. He had an essential job, so he didn't lose his gig during the rebellion or during the quarantine. However, he turned him into the hardest working man in Jamaica Point. Universal Truth says self-restraint is a way to stay sharp too, dealing with new situations and staying in tune with what needs to be given, not going in trying to dominate the situation, only add on to what is missing. You know, that, I agree with you in terms of, but see, now we get to, these things you describing is more about the skill of the swordsman. See, you get somebody the sharpest sword in the drawer. Wherever they pick the swords from, you can give them the sharpest one, but they got to know how to use it. So you come in, like you said, you hacking, you hacking at somebody's arm or something, and you don't really know how to use a sword. Remember the story? Remember in what's that guy's name? King Arthur. Does anybody remember how King Arthur got Excalibur? He had a sword named Excalibur. Does anybody know how he got Excalibur? Oh yeah, y'all put the note 793. That's what I was saying. What did Johnson say here? So there seems John Simpson said there seems to be at least two parts to it. One is finding the cipher one wishes to master, as well as incorporating other things to challenge self. God said the divine said he was born the hardest working man. He was born the hardest working man in Jamaica Queen. Nah, man. I seen it myself. You went from like maybe top 10, top 20 to the hardest working man in Jamaican points. Okay, so Maya says here, I do use the pointy end. I think you need to footnote that, like the brother was just saying. So you're getting into how King Arthur got uh, Excalibur, right? Uh, Halftime said nobody else was strong enough. True Self said pulled it from the stone. 793rd said out of the stone after the lady of the lake threw it in the water. Universal Truth said Merlin got the sword for him from the lady in the lake. God Cyber Divine said King Arthur had to free the sword from the stone in order to wield it. Right. Now, you got to learn how to speak these languages. You got to learn how to speak these languages. Now, what is the stone? Right, Wise you said many tried, and he was the only one qualified to do. Arthur was the only one qualified to pull it from the stone. Right. See, Wise you said the foundation is the stone. See, that's knowledge and wisdom. And then, what was one of the things that he did once he got the sword out of the stone, right? Does anybody recall? Um, is that how he? I don't want to say that's how he got the kingdom, but there was something very significant that he did with the sword after he got it from the stone. Universal Truth said the stone is man's evolution. True Self said the stone would be the earth. The wordsmith is at it again. And listen, wordsmith, we already flowing. You know, we already using a language within a language here. But if anybody recalls the story, right? There was a situation with a knot, like a rope that was tied into a knot. Does anyone recall that situation? In the story, that is. No. Well, yeah, you can draw it up that way of the stone being a trap or a state of ignorance. But the stone could also be what you have to master. That's where your wisdom comes from. That's the foundation of knowledge. And only the person who can internalize that knowledge is going to be able to use that wisdom. Knowing, no one recalls. Anyone? Anyone? This all right. So Jasim said he's not familiar with the folklore. Right? We got Tony Kondo. Shout out to Tony Kondo. Where you from? Welcome to the channel. Halftime said, I never saw King Arthur as allegory until now. I just used to see it as something English teachers used to bore us with. Yeah, see, you got to speak the language. See, there was a knot, right? That whoever could untie the knot would be the ruler. Whoever untied the knot would be the ruler. So, what is the knot? See you with this jam shit, man. I told you we got to deal with that. Right. The Gordian knot. But what does the knot represent? Commonly used to describe a complex situation. See, the knot represents problems. The knot is a problem. And does anybody recall how King Arthur untied the knot? For this satisfaction, said, I will never think of the story of Excalibur the same. So the knot represents problems, right? Does anyone recall how King Arthur unraveled the knot? Right, so Jam said he just looked it up, and uh, King Arthur used the sword and just chopped the knot. So what that's telling you, that he used his wisdom to be the problem solver. And the understanding, or the best part, is the what? Reward for chopping it, for unraveling the knot. Right, infinite satisfaction. And so therein lies a lesson of why your sword must remain sharp. You see what I'm saying? Because now what happens, like I said, you become comfortable with a situation where your sword don't have to be sharp, because whatever you dealing with, right, it don't really require all this much brain power. Rather it's because you've been doing it so long, or rather it's because it really don't require that much brain power, you become comfortable, right, not having to use the full range of your wisdom. L7 says shock testing to see how much more control over the people they have acquired. You gotta, I think this one needs a footnote. But like I said, in there lies another lesson about why the sword has to be sharp. Because then what happens, right, when you get presented with something that is not just your daily routine of handling things that don't take any brain power. I don't wait. I'm trying to think back. What caused me to bring up the story of King Arthur? And what happened to Tony Kondo? Where you from, Tony Kondo? Guess I just went off on a tangent. Jam says, I'm seeing that like the body and mind, one's willpower is in a sense, has to be exercised. Indeed, you see, willpower is something, if you're gonna exercise it, right, you gotta exercise it some things before. And what I mean by that is, let's say you smoke crack. A lot of times your willpower has to be exercised before to say, all right, you know what? I'm not going to go around these people right here. I'm not going to go around these people right here and hang out in that place over there. Because see, once you get to that place, now you got a different degree of what your willpower has to deal with. Now you got people that's actually amongst you doing what you're trying to have willpower against. Universal Truth said in the film, Arthur loses his sharpness because he forgot the lesson that said, you and the land are one. He fell victim to his own devils, and the land failed him, and the land failed with him. I heard of martial artists who train to find their pulse in their chest, then around their body, then in the sword. Their pulse in the sword is a way. Their pulse in the sword is a way to become one with the sword and never be harmed by it. 793. Yeah, smoking crack focuses the mind. When you, when you, when you, when you, listen, and because you got to realize, crack is one of those devils. Meaning that when we say that the devil was made, right, so that we can see a clear example, right? We can see a clear example of what was going on and be able to see it from outside, not being too close to the forest to see the trees, not being connected with the devilish ring so that you justifying it. When you see somebody else doing it from the outside, you can analyze it more, objectively. Crack is one of those devils that when you look at situations surrounding crack, whether it's the dealing of crack or the smoking of crack or just crack in general, is something that illustrates the examples of devilishment to us. The same way Yakub's experiment does that. I'm trying to say, I don't ever need to be that focused. And I'm telling you, you have to, well, maybe that's what it is too. I said smoking crack focuses the mind. I didn't mean, I meant, using the smoking of crack as an example. Examples that deal with life lessons where you use crack smoking, it tends to focus the mind. $704 and $793. I never looked at them like that. But yeah, $704 and $793. We got the I might have to look, and we got L7 to add on with them. 7 Up crew. We got the 7 Up crew up in here. Well, so we got any other questions about anything we built on about keeping it short, sharp, or uh, any other question in general as well? Halftime said, I've never gotten why EU means the rope to bind in. Well, EU means hillside, and ROPE means the rope to bind in. Oh, Jamie Jam said the comment about crack smoking made me think my uncle passed away after a triple bypass and a stint in rehab. Well, halftime dealing with the EU. Are you aware of the what is the uh, what would you call it? Where the name Europe comes from? Anyone can answer that, by the way. Universal Truth says, sounds like you're up. Yeah, I don't know for how long. let's begin. Half time said I've always guessed Greek, but no, I don't know. So does anybody know where the term Europe comes from? Where's the wordsmith on this? God Cyber Divine said when something that has been diluted, mixed, or tampered, aka the Bible or Quran, information being left out or extracted in the 28th degree and the 140. He also had other rules and regulations which are not mentioned in this lesson. Waju said West Asia is a landmass of hillside. Holyfield said Greek words meaning Eurus, meaning broad, Eurus, and face, ops. State of the art say EU means European Union. This is interesting right here, though. This Greek etymology that you gave.
Still in your live?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody came in something like that?
Huh? I didn't hear it. What Follyfield said is some Google gibberish. What? Right now, when it comes to, right now, y'all came up with a couple of different things, right? But a couple of different possible origins of where the term Europe comes from. But one that y'all left out is the Ural Mountains. Does anyone know where the Ural Mountains are and why they're significant? Well, where they are and why they're significant is kind of the same. It's kind of the same question and answer this time. So Follyfield says, in the Ural Mountains are in Russia, which is true. But in reference to the topic that we're speaking on, you could give me a little more relevant location. Can anyone give me a little more relevant location for the Ural Mountains? Follyfield said Urals were an Asian and Middle Eastern race. No. Jam said Caucasian mountain range. Well, the Urals, right, are also near the Caucasus. The Urals are also near the Caucasus Mountains, but we're leaving out something that is a little bit more relevant in relation to the question that we're asking. Infinite Satisfaction said, I always thought it was related to running the devil into the caves and hillsides. Well, let's continue to explore where the Urals are and what is significant about the Ural Mountains. So Maya says, what role does the woman play in this again? I think I missed that part. Please clarify. I think Maya, you might, hold on. Let me give you a playlist here. I think we have to put Maya on to the Hotep week. I think we have to put Maya on to the Hotep week. The Hotep week playlist. See, because we had a whole week in which we see, here we go. Let's see if I can. See, let me find this link. But really, I found the link. Oh wait. Now let's see if. See that? You see that playlist right there? Maya, you need to check that playlist out. You know, the black woman plays the role of the mother of civilization. We went into many of the specifics on that playlist. So, you know, when you get a chance, check that out. All right, now, Brilliant Elevation, Follyfield came now with the answer. Burden Elevation said it separates Asia from Europe. Valleyfield says the mountain range forms part of the conventional boundary between the continents of Europe and Asia. Right? And so now let's go back, right, to EU means hillside, ROP means the rope to bind in, right? And what the guy said about we ran them into the caves of West Asia. Or am I leaving too much? Am I leaving too much out here? Do I still need to provide some more clarity? So Maya said to explain. Which part would you like me to explain? What is this? Maya Agenor Phoenix. What is Agenor Phoenix? So, halftime. Is it becoming more clear why EU means hillside? Mr. Dynamite came in and said, you ever see that law symbol of a blind lady with a sword? That would be Athena. Yeah, I've seen it before. Jam said in Greek mythology, Phoenix or Phoenix is the eponym of Phoenicia, who together with his brothers were tasked to find their abducted sister Europa. Yeah, this is true. Goddess Idina. What's this female god stuff? Okay. When it says, we ran the devil into the caves of West Asia, right? How far do you think we went with them? So we ran the devil into the caves of West Asia. How far do you think we went with them? only as far as needed. And so where do you think that might be? $2,200 miles. Follyfield said Greece. Universal Truth said the border. Now, would you agree with that halftime? The border? Does anybody know who the goddess Idina is? Who's this? I have a question. I have a question for the female god over here too. As soon as we get this understanding of why the degree says EU means hillside. Okay, so halftime you said yes, that part makes sense. Why go all the way if it was people causing trouble that you're escorting? Okay, now what did we just discuss was the border. We just said that the border was the Ural Mountains. And so we ran them to the hillside. Valleyfield said Greece. Greece is a little bit far. Didn't the Greeks believe in goddesses? So we're not Greek. Oh, halftime said he sees it now. See? So when we ran them to the hillside, the border became the rope to bind them in. But for Valleyfield said Greece, the original man stopped more in Asia Minor. Maya says the Caucasus Mountains. Why'd you bring up the Caucasus Mountains this time? Right, True Self said Turkey, the Turks. Has anyone ever looked up a place called Cappadocia? Universal Truth said the border, because guards don't follow who they're escorting into the destination, they walk them only to the entrance and then leave. Grain Elevation says stopped in Georgia. What do you mean, Georgia that was part of the USSR? Halftime said a couple of parliaments ago, a brother told me the Turks were the ones to guard that area. I haven't researched it yet, though. Yeah, the Turks, Turkey is the closest part of Asia Minor to Europe. Constant, you could look up the history of Constantinople, right? / Istanbul. We've gone over it a couple of times on here, but that's two things you could research, right? Is Cappadocia, right? Hold on, let me spell it. I'm pretty sure that's how to spell that, right? And another thing you will have to look up is the history of a place called Anatolia. When you go back into, even the times of the Greeks, Anatolia is Turkey. You said, wasn't that where they took them? Who's they, and when is the when is the timeline that you're talking about? Universal Truth said the Eastern Roman Empire was Constantinople. The Eastern Roman Empire was headquartered in Constantinople. Maya said, before this, weren't they living in the caves, or are we not going back that far? I think we're going back further than you might realize. We're going back into how they got into the caves. True Self said Bursa is around there as well. I'm familiar with, knowing about Bursa. What's significant about the history in Bursa? I'm not well versed on all that history. Has anyone looked up Cappadocia already? Universal Truth said it's crazy how many people treat cave dwellers as the dawn of man. Yeah, I know Bursa is displayed in the map, but I'm saying, like, is there like a historical thing that happened in Bursa as well? Okay, you saying several things here. You saying, weren't they kicked out of Africa, which is the reason why they ended up in the caves? Could you further explain again, simplify? Halftime, did you see the pictures of Cappadocia? Anybody who looked it up, click on the images tab. Okay, Maya, I'm trying to understand which part. Like I mean, you bringing this up totally. First you mentioned the Greeks having goddesses, and then now you telling me about them being kicked out of Africa. I mean, why would I be following? If we had to kick them out, why would I now be following any of their philosophy? Halftime said the first image associated with it is the White Hill. No joke. I'm, I'm, I'm not joking. I'm trying to tell you something. I'm trying to tell you something about the history in that degree. Where 60 said they built homes in around the caves. I don't know so much about around, but they build their homes into the mountainside. Jam says they carved it straight out of the rock. So see, they made their own caves. Valleyfield said troglodytes. Isn't troglodytes like some kind of ancient life forms or something? So, adding one more thing on to the history, right, of that, right? We talk about this region of Asia Minor, right? And, for the Greeks to prosper, Alexander the Great, or what does the God Cypher Divine call him again? Alexander what? What do you call him again? Alexander the Greek. When Alexander the Greek left Greece, right? Where did he start attacking people first? Yeah, God Cypher Divine, I was already ahead of you. Halftime said, I've been through 3 pages of images, not one pic of flatlands yet. Follyfield said they were cave dwellers during antiquity. Oh, that's who the troglodytes are? I didn't even know they was real people. I thought they was some type of primitive life forms. See, when Alexander the Greek left Greece, right, he attacked the people in Asia Minor, right, going straight across to the Indus River. Because without attacking those people, they was what? Binded in. Universal Truth says Petra has buildings carved out of the mountainside too. I wonder if that was similar to Musa teaching how to build a home. I don't know about Petra having homes. I do know they have some giant structures there, carved structures from rock. But I don't know if this is where they made a home for themselves. So Jam brings up the Persians. Yeah, the Persians was the people who had conquered that region from Anatolia, right? Going back to the Indus River. So are we clear on the EU meaning hillside now? Universal Truth said, not saying Petra was built by the colored man, only suggesting a similar carving technique could have been passed down to Musa and taught to the colored man. We gotta get into the timelines. Were the Amorites the one that took Jerusalem back, or the Babylonians? I'm not sure what you're saying. Saladin, uh, Saladin, which we got some brothers in here that's, they got a history of being closer to the book than me. But Saladin was from Iraq, and Iraq was a part of the Babylonian Empire. So I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about. All right, have time. That's peace. What about what's her name? Maya? Are you you might have to come in on a whole day. It might take me the whole 2 hours. So you're not clear. I mean, you have to. Do you have a specific question? Because to some degree, I mean, you're gonna have a lack of understanding of things that you haven't studied. Is that are there any specific questions? Maya, that is. Are there any specific questions? See, you said you keep saying like 5 different things and then asking to explain. You said you would like to know: are we speaking of African people, or are we speaking of how Africans became Caucasians? But then again, Caucasians are Neanderthal, not considered human. I mean, I would say these are the things you're speaking on. You know, we're speaking on really the word Europe, the term Europe, and how it relates specifically to things that it says in 120 lessons. That's what we're talking about. Now, what you're talking about, bringing up the Greeks, bringing up that they have goddesses and these types of things, that's where I'm lost at. Well, I'm not lost, but that's where I don't follow what you're saying, because no one said anything like that. You're pretty slow on the responses here. It's about that time. The siege of Jerusalem was a military campaign carried out by Nebuchadnezzar II, who was king of Babylon in 597 BC. All right, well, that's another ancient time. I don't think it was called Jerusalem then. What was your question again? When you said took Jerusalem back, we're not talking about 597 BC. If you're talking about the degree is talking about 1183 AD. Like, this is more like 2,700 years ago instead of 750 years ago. I mean, you could be referring to that, that would be a situation, if you're saying that Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonians was necessarily the original people. Right, it said a brother by the name of Jesus was buried there, and he wouldn't be buried there in 605 BC. Maya says, no, this is the education currently going on all around social media. So I'm currently asking a teacher to explain how Africans were kicked out and became Caucasian. I mean, I don't. You got to ask the people on the internet who says that some Africans were kicked out and became Caucasian. Well, your analysis of white people being 100% Neanderthal is uh, it is not accurate according to the research that I've done. So God's type of divine said before it was called Jerusalem or Jerusalem, it was called Canaan after Canaanite deity around 14th century. I mean, you asking for knowledge, but I'm saying you're asking for knowledge on things that I don't see as true. It's false. Maya, we gotta I see Maya takes so long to respond, but just you know, we can start winding it down. You know, anybody that made it this far with me, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. You know, of course, if you want to know when the lives is coming on, hit the notification alerts. Tomorrow, we're going to see if we broadcast that footage of a couple of little words I said over there, you know, and get down to just regular business as usual. You know, tomorrow, the class sparks off at 6 o'clock. So in the meantime, in between time, I shall see y'all later. Peace.